Our next presenter is Robbert Lohmann. Robbert is one of the founders of 2getthere and also a Chief Operating Officer based in the Netherlands. He is also a board member of the Advanced Transit Association Industry Group. Robbert is going to talk about some of the ongoing projects by 2getthere, including those in Rivium, Masdar, and Hsinchu City in Taiwan. Robbert?
Thank you. Okay, we're supposed to do an update on ongoing projects, and I've been as free to talk a little bit about a project that is in the near future as well, so it's a little bit of a combination of both. Just wanted to show this slide as a little bit of background on what 2getthere has done through the past. We've had applications since 1997 with automated people movers operating at grade, so we can actually say we were one of the very first companies doing automated transportation at grade without the physical guidance. So it's still quite unique in the world, because I think all the autonomous cars that are operational on the roads today still require a software engineer or a driver to be in the car to intervene when anything goes wrong. And I can tell you, ours don't have a driver or anybody to attend to it in case anything goes wrong, which frankly it doesn't either. The three applications I'm going to talk about is the oldest one is the Rivium application in the Netherlands. I'm going to talk about the Masdar City application, which has been operational since November 2010, and then the Hsinchu application in Taiwan, which we have a memorandum of understanding for. The Rivium application, and what I'll do is, I have a video, and it does have music, so I hope the music is not too loud and still allows me to talk over it, because that will reduce the time of the presentation a little bit. The Rivium application is a... Does it start? Don't do that. My videos are not going to work. Wait, let me... I do want my videos to work. And then we'll do it this way, right? The Rivium application is a connection between a subway station, which also has a park and ride facility serving the city of Rotterdam, to a business park which is located about 1.5 kilometers away. Formerly, when people used to travel to this business park, they needed to take a bus service from the next subway station. The bus service first went through a residential area before finally coming into the business park. The last 1.5 kilometers from this station to the business park could take people half an hour to 45 minutes, depending on whether or not they caught the bus in time. So you can imagine that the bus, or public transit in general, was not the most popular way to get to this business park. They wanted a connection, but for 1.5 kilometers, having a regular city bus with a manual driver, they were very afraid of accidents, because it's what they call in Dutch, it's a lap around the church. It gets very boring, people get distracted, they make accidents, and it's also very expensive, because you need a lot of buses in the peak hour, and off-peak hour there's almost nobody coming and wanting transportation anymore. This system was specifically designed because it doesn't have the physical infrastructure. If you need to install a rail, the rail has a certain cost, and for a short distance it became excessive in relation to the number of passengers they were expecting a day. The ridership of the system is currently about 2,500 passengers a day. And as you can see in the video, we have at-grade intersections protected by barriers, induction loops in the ground so we can detect whether there are cars present in the intersection. In that case, the barriers won't go down. And it's been operating since end of 2006. We've got up or are over 6 million passengers now. And I can tell you that from the perspective of operations, this is quite unique. Whenever I have reference visits here, and this year has been quite exceptional with the attention for autonomous car, I'm there at least once every 2 weeks. The operator that sits in the operating booth actually has a keyboard stuck underneath his desk, because when he gets bored, he's learning how to play keyboard. So if that says anything about the reliability of the system, I think it's a very clear message. Currently, the operations contract for Connection, who is the public transit operation company in the Netherlands, runs another up till the end of 2016. Then they have the possibility to extend the operations contract by 2 years, and after that it will need to be retendered, which means the operator, not us as a supplier. Now let me find back my presentation. There we were. There we are. Which one was that? No, don't run again. Come on. I'm sorry. Technical difficulties. Where's the presentation mode? Christer, how do I switch to presentation mode? F5. Where's the F key? And there it is. I should have known this. The next video. This is how well prepared I came. No. There we go again. So the Mastar application, and I think most of you have heard about Mastar as well. This has been operational since 28th of November 2010. It was, if you don't consider Morgantown to be PRT, but you consider Morgantown to be GRT, it's the first PRT system to open in the world, but I won't take those credits because frankly, in 1975, they should go to Morgantown. We have a system here, first phase, 10 vehicles, a 1.5 kilometer loop, so its single distance is about 800 meters, which doesn't seem like a whole lot, and it seems like somebody could walk, but I can tell you from experience that in Abu Dhabi, during 8 out of the 12 months of the year, it's very uncomfortable to walk if you have anything more on than just a simple shirt. If you have to walk this in summer and you have to walk more than 200 meters, you're drenched by the time you get anywhere. So the whole idea is to cope with the heat. As you can see, this system has angled berths to allow independent entry and exit of the vehicles. So it also means that if grandma and grandpa or somebody who doesn't know how to use the system comes into a vehicle, requires a little bit more time, the whole system doesn't slow down because that one person is taking a little bit longer. And in practice, we have actually proven a 5-second headway between vehicles in these operations, while theoretically you could already do 3, but 5 is more than sufficient here. The system currently, it was designed to carry 900 passengers a day, so relatively low volume, at an average occupancy of 1.1 passengers per vehicle, because they were saying in Western Europe you get about 1.1 to 1.3 passengers per vehicle, so it's likely to also happen in pods. What's actually happening is that there are approximately 2.4 passengers per vehicle, and the number of passengers keep increasing throughout the years. So by now we're carrying almost 2,000 passengers a day instead of the originally envisioned 900, which means that we've recently surpassed the mark of 1.5 million passengers transported. System is operational for 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, managed by a team, operations and maintenance of just 8 people. And again, also in the situation there, we're giving additional tasks to our operators, because if everything functions as normal, the operators really need something to keep them occupied, or otherwise we run the risk of them well, not paying full attention to what they should be doing. And F5. Got it. To give you the overview, this graph shows you the number of trips per day, the number of passengers per day, and the system availability. And you clearly see that the system availability throughout the years has been well, gradually improving. We had one dip recently where we went just a little bit, it's per month, so that went a little bit below 99%, but for the last half year it's consistently been 99.95 to 99.98, and some months we were even at 100%, which was kind of unique. The typical dips you see in the passenger numbers are really easy to explain, because those are the summer months. And in the summer months, everybody gets the heck out of the Emirates because it's way too warm, in combination with the fact that we're serving a university where students usually don't study during the summer either. You get a very natural pattern, which through the years, and this keeps surprising us, there's continuously an increase of the number of passengers we're expecting. So we're wondering at this point in time, the system is at capacity, so we really need all the vehicles during all hours to serve the capacity, and we're kind of trying to push our customer to order more from us, but obviously customers don't like to be pushed that much, so it's an ongoing conversation. Then the MOU we signed for Hsinchu City in Taiwan, we announced this in January of this year. We have a partner in Taiwan since the last 5 years, Land Network, who's been working with the local municipalities over there and doing this in a public-private partnership and basically connecting 2 rail stations with a major university and a science park. This complete trajectory is about 7 to 8 kilometers long. It's completely elevated, so above street level. And this was the first idea that we launched in January, and since then we have gotten a grant from the Dutch government to research this particular project and research the stations for this project. And we found out during our most recent visits that actually things are changing quite quickly in Taiwan. One of the major reasons has been that Hsinchu City, where this application is located, the mayor was not re-elected. In the neighboring Hsinchu County, the mayor was re-elected, and that mayor took a liking to our system. So the whole design of the system changed based on the fact that the new mayor automatically doesn't want what the old mayor wanted, but the mayor in Hsinchu County still wanted it. So the whole route has been reconfigured, which means we still serve Hsinchu Park, the science park, because it's the most crucial part of the whole connection, because it's a science park which has over 150,000 employees. But instead of connecting to the rail station that's located within Hsinchu City, we're now connecting to the high-speed rail station that's located in Hsinchu County. And actually the high-speed rail station has a much higher value to the system because there's a lot more passengers coming in through that station. So the connection between the high-speed rail station and the Hsinchu Science Park will require approximately 5,000 people per hour capacity. In addition, obviously, because it's a Hsinchu County project, the Hsinchu County office should also be connected to the high-speed rail station, and you see all the other connections that are envisioned for the future. What we are going to do in that project is use our new generation GRT vehicle, and GRT being group rapid transit, not being personal rapid transit. It's the vehicle that you saw in the Rivium application, so accommodating 20 to 24 passengers, of which 12 are seated. The remaining passengers are standees. And these vehicles are now being built, or they're in development. The prototype is being built. That's the correct way to put it. The unique thing about this vehicle for us is that now it's going to be all-wheel steered, and it's going to be bi-directional. So the turning loops that you saw in the Rivian video at the end of the track, those are no longer going to be there, and the vehicle is basically going to be able to drive in both directions. So it has 2 fronts, 2 backs, or no front or no back, however you want to put it. These are some of the renderings that for the vehicle was made, and for the application in Taiwan they actually did a very nice video to give you an impression of how that application in Taiwan would look like. And you'll have to forgive because I'm not quite able to translate everything that you'll see in the video, but you'll see a lot of characters and you'll just have to believe that it says something about the system and that it's right. So the stations again are going to be mostly angled birds, sticking to that concept because it allows for easy independent entry and exit. Seated passengers and standees kind of having less seats to allow for more standees inside the vehicles, and basically offering the space for bikes and wheelchairs to be brought on board more easily. System is going to be entirely elevated. Minimum width of the guideway is about 5.7 meters. Both directions, which mean you see no evacuation guideway, and we're basically using the opposite direction as the evacuation guideway for the system. Because you don't have rail, people are quite easily able to walk over the track. And this was still for the very first animation, so you probably see elements of the university come by, which we're not connecting to anymore now. And what's most exceptional for us is that usually we're focused on designing our stations to be as small as possible, to have a minimal footprint and to allow for easy urban planning around that station. In this case, our partner is very strict because of the investors coming in and wanting to earn back their investment on this project. They're saying we want the stations to be as large as possible because that means we can get retail to come into those stations, we can rent out the retail space, and we can earn back the system through the revenues we generate from the retail. So for us that's quite an exceptional concept. And you can see I've been to the site approximately a month ago, and I must say that the images that are shown of how the system looks and how the surroundings looks, it is that densely populated, and there are that many buildings in the surroundings. So an elevated system here and in Asia is where visual intrusion in Europe and America sometimes is a big discussion. In this case in Taiwan it's not a discussion at all. People are very accustomed to elevated infrastructures running down streets. And that concludes the video. There was, well, more video of the old videos behind it, but I'll spare you that because we're doing the presentation anyways. And my final slide is actually something that talks about news. And the only news I can give you is that the real news will be here soon. I'm not allowed to tell you yet. I'm not allowed to share you yet, but I am quite certain that before the end of the month we will come with a press release about the next project that we have on our contract. Thank you.